So God created you just like him. But the next statement in verse 26 is critical. It says, and let them have dominion. The word dominion is the reason why God created you. He created you like him for dominion. So God created you to dominate. The word dominate means to govern, to rule, to control, to manage, to lead, to have control over, and to master. It's an important word. You missed the whole list. You didn't write that fast. Let me try it again. The word dominion means to govern, to rule, to control, to manage, to lead, to have authority over, and to master something. I'm going to say it a third time because this is the key to servant leadership. Dominion is the key to servant leadership. I'm going to repeat what dominion means. It's going to make sense at the end of this teaching, and this week you will be blessed by understanding this concept.
That was Dr. Miles Monroe, a renowned leadership expert and author who championed the philosophy of servant leadership. He believed that true leadership is about serving others and empowering them to reach their full potential. Drawing from biblical principles, Dr. Monroe taught that leaders should prioritize the well-being and growth of their followers, fostering a culture of love, humility, and service. His teachings continue to inspire leaders worldwide to lead with compassion and purpose. Thank you for choosing to listen to this episode of Breakout Room, the podcast that encourages the exchange of ideas and different viewpoints outside the mainstream discourse. It's where we dream, inspire, and rethink leadership. I'm your host, Dr. Nicole, and today we are continuing our exploration of servant leadership. It is a personally significant philosophy for me as an aspiring leader. And last week on our episode, What is Servant Leadership?, we set the tone for how serving first can create a more adaptive and engaging environment. If you missed that episode, be sure to go back and check it out. In this episode, I want to paint a picture of what servant leadership looks like. If you like what you're hearing, please like and subscribe, rate and review, and share this podcast with other aspiring leaders, managers, and anyone hungry for a more inclusive, people-first approach to leadership. Servant leadership, as I shared on the previous episode, is a philosophy and a set of practices that prioritizes the growth and well-being of individuals and the community over the leader's self-interest. It is a non-traditional leadership style that emphasizes serving others first. The goal of servant leadership is to build a more just and equitable society. It flips the traditional leadership model. Instead of leaders who demand service, we have leaders who serve first. So when you think about leadership in general, or being a leader, what are the things that come to your mind? Are they things like control, influence, or strength? What about ruling over people, or is it about serving them? I think about characteristics like honesty, humility, integrity, or even collaboration and connection. So let's talk about some of the core components of servant leadership with the idea that the leader's primary goal, again, is to serve and empower others. It's not about personal power, it's about lifting others up. So the key components of servant leadership include putting others first. Servant leaders prioritize the needs and well-being of their team, their customers, and the broader community. They focus on how they can help others grow and succeed. And so in the workplace, this might look something like someone in another department, you getting promoted, their skill sets, and you know that they will be better used in a different role. And even though you need those skills and you want that person to work for you, they could serve a greater good somewhere else. And so you sacrifice what you want and what you need and allow them to go on and flourish in another area. Servant leaders also practice active listening. They actively listen to the needs, concerns, and ideas of others. They create a safe and open environment for communication and feedback. This means giving someone your full attention, asking questions, checking for understanding, seeking clarification, having empathy, and providing constructive feedback. So take a listen to this.
Okay. Allie, let's talk about what you did.
I don't want to talk.
Are you feeling angry?
Reflect back.
You're angry.
Yes.
Okay. But it's not okay to rip up toys when we're angry.
Judgmental.
You are angry because,
Because it used to be your toy.
oh,
Yes. I don't like Michael and Jeffrey.
I see. You think that Mommy and Daddy pay too much attention to Michael and Jeffrey.
Ray, okay, I was handling this.
They get everything.
Right, and you're upset because we gave them your old giraffe.
I still liked it.
But you weren't playing with it.
But that doesn't matter, though, because it was still yours. And you're mad because we gave it to Michael without asking you, right?
Right.
Well, Mommy and Daddy made a mistake. And everybody makes mistakes, right, Mommy?
Yes.
Do you feel better now, Allie?
Yes, can I have the giraffe?
Well, it's broken, honey.
I know, I want to try to fix it for
That is a clip from Everybody Loves Raymond, and in that clip, Ray is using active listening to get to the root of Allie's problem. Servant leaders should model active listening, again, by meeting the needs and concerns, or hearing the needs and concerns and ideas of other people. There's also empathy and compassion. Servant leaders understand and share the feelings of others. They show genuine care and concern for the well-being of their team members. They demonstrate that they are their peer, they're vulnerable, and they want to support them. You can see this show up also in personal relationships. It looks like just showing up and supporting a friend during a time of trouble or demonstrating genuine concern for their well-being. Servant leaders also build strong relationships based on trust, honesty, and integrity. They earn the respect and confidence of their team members. It is really consistent fulfillment over time that builds trust. There's empowerment. Empowerment can be related to putting others first. It's recognizing their talents and skills, demonstrating trust in others' abilities, giving them authority, providing them with the resources and support they need to succeed. Other components are developing others, where the servant leader invests in the growth and development of their team. So again, maybe putting others first. They provide opportunities for learning, mentorship, and career advancement. Servant leaders are humble and recognize that they don't have all the answers. They are open to learning and growth for themselves. Humility for them is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. This list of core components also includes being aware of what's happening around them with their team, being aware of future threats and opportunities, and also being self-aware, understanding what their values are and who they really are. Servant leaders persuade others to see vision through their own actions, not by convincing them. They can influence others by communicating their own passions. They have a vision and can articulate the end goal, presenting it in a way that builds on their other characteristics. They can create a plan for how to reach goals, understanding the past and present and future consequences of their decisions. And they rely on data, qualitative information, and their intuition to communicate goals and timelines. They're good stewards and work to build community, which are both related back to the idea of building trust within and outside the organization. Servant leadership contrasts with traditional leadership models that focus on the accumulation and exercise of power. Instead, servant leaders share power, prioritize the needs of others, help people develop and perform at as highly as possible. It's about also creating a positive, supportive environment where everybody can thrive. The best leaders are those who spend time serving others by empowering them, and regardless of what their status or position is, they're there to serve. Servant leadership fosters personal and professional growth and just strengthens relationships. So last week, I encourage you to think about how we can serve and how we can produce positive change. So in our families, we might be generous with our time and resources, offering a helping hand with chores, or simply being emotionally or physically available. You can collaborate with coworkers, offer to pitch in when someone's feeling overwhelmed, or even provide mentorship to help them grow and succeed on the job. In our communities, we could be involved in charitable activities, community events, or advocacy. It could also look like helping neighbors and supporting local businesses. And I do a little bit of all of that. I have been fortunate enough to be a mentor for another doctoral student who is now nearing the completion of her program. And so I've been able to give her the benefit of my experience in a real and relevant way. I've shared my challenges and my successes. I've given her tips and strategies that I use to get through my degree. I can be to her what I wish that I would have had. In fact, she's actually finishing her program in May, and I plan to go out and celebrate with her when she graduates. So I believe that I've helped her grow, and I believe that when she finishes, she will be very, much more likely to mentor others. So I really want to hear from you. I want to hear your stories and your experience that you've had with servant leadership. Are you the type of leader who is a servant first? Do you know of a leader that you feel is a great servant leader? Let us know. Like, find us on social media and just leave us a comment. Just let us know what your experiences are. I really want to know what are some problems that you see within your sphere of influence, that you just feel like something needs to be done about it. Are you planning to take on these challenges? What do you feel really deeply about that you want to be actively involved in, and use that opportunity to be a servant leader? So again, I just want to encourage you to be the change that you want to see. So as I wrap up our time together, I want to leave you with this final thought. Anyone who's ever studied leadership may know that many of the characteristics I've shared today will likely be found in almost every textbook, podcast, or video on leadership. But servant leadership is different. The difference lies in how these qualities show up in practice. It's about collaboration versus competition. It's about long-term development over short-term achievements. It's about being people-oriented versus being results-oriented. It's serving the needs of others first. In other words, servant leaders eat last. And so leadership is not about dominion or rulership. God created humans for dominion, which means to govern, rule, control, manage, and lead. This dominion was given over the earth and all its creatures, but never over other humans. Leadership, therefore, should not be about controlling people, but about something greater, something that leads to the idea of servant leadership. And so that's all I have for this week. I want to thank you for listening to this episode of Breakout Room. Please be sure to rate and review this podcast so others can find and enjoy this content on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Until next time, be well.